today's chaotic world, it's easy to feel lost, pushed by expectations, pressured by failures, and swept away by emotions you barely notice yet beneath the noise. There's a path back to yourself, a quieter, stronger way of living rooted in timeless Stoic wisdom. In this video, we'll explore how to build inner resilience, master your emotions, and stand firm amidst life's storms. You'll discover why true freedom isn't found in controlling the outside world, but in mastering your own responses. Every hardship, every temptation, every setback holds the potential to forge a stronger you if you know how to meet them with clarity, discipline, and unwavering purpose. Stay with us, because what you'll find here is more than advice. It's a map back to your deepest strength, a strength no chaos can ever take away. The beginning of the journey, building inner strength amidst a chaotic world. In the fast-paced turbulence of modern life, it is easy for individuals to be overwhelmed by pressure, anxiety, and unexpected upheavals demanding work, fragile relationships, an uncertain future. All these can make one feel small against an overwhelmingly vast world. In such circumstances, the most important thing is not to control everything outside, but to build a strong inner power that allows you to stand firm amidst the storms. A strong mind is not one that has never known fear or disappointment. It is a mind that knows how to welcome these emotions without letting them take control. It is the ability to rise after being knocked down, to maintain composure when everything around crumbles. This is the foundation of true resilience, the quiet strength that helps us endure adversity rather than being swept away by it. Stoic philosophy, with its timeless lessons, teaches that peace does not come from favorable circumstances, but from how we respond to them. When we learn to focus on what is within our control and let go of what is not, we begin to experience a profound kind of freedom from the chaos of the outside world and the ceaseless fluctuations within ourselves. This journey is not easy. It demands daily mindfulness, persistent practice, and above all, a strong commitment to ourselves. But the reward is priceless. A steadfast mind, a peaceful heart, and an unshakable spirit against life's trials. Today, as you take your first steps on this journey, remember, the strength you seek is not outside. It is waiting to be awakened from within you. The quiet power of discipline, the unshakable pillar of your life. If motivation is the first spark that ignites the desire for change, then discipline is the quiet fire that keeps the journey alive. Discipline is not flashy, it is silent. It does not demand recognition from others, nor does it seek praise. Discipline is simply the perseverance to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. In Stoic philosophy, discipline is not about rigidly following rules. It is the commitment to live in alignment with one's own values. Regardless of circumstances, Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus both emphasized that discipline is not self-coercion, but the freedom to choose actions that align with our highest aspirations. It is the strength to act without needing the push of fleeting emotions or temporary temptations. A disciplined mind clearly distinguishes between what can be controlled and what must be relinquished. When you persist in right actions despite failure, fatigue, or temptation, you are building a solid inner strength that no external upheaval can easily shake. This is the true foundation for reducing anxiety and stress, because your mind is no longer dragged by what lies beyond reach. You become proactive, no longer reactive to circumstances. But discipline does not arrive overnight. It begins with very small choices: waking up on time, completing promised work, keeping promises to yourself. Each time you overcome procrastination, each time you reject a bad habit in favor of a long-term goal, you are reinforcing your inner fortitude, Discipline is also the ultimate test of character during the hardest times. When motivation fades and results are still unseen, only discipline keeps you on the path you have chosen. It pushes you forward even when momentary belief wavers, because you know that the true value lies in the act of perseverance, not in fleeting rewards. And in time, when discipline becomes part of your nature, you will realize something remarkable. True freedom is not doing whatever you want, whenever you want. True freedom is doing what you should do, even when you don't feel like it. It is a quiet but unwavering strength against all of life's hidden currents. When discipline becomes the unshakable pillar in your mind, the storms outside will be reduced to mere breezes blowing past an immovable mountain. Breaking the chains of negative habits, the starting point of true freedom. Some chains are not made of iron, yet they silently bind the mind and steal our freedom. These are the negative habits, the familiar cycles of procrastination, negative thinking, or self-sabotaging behaviors. They not only hinder growth, but also nourish anxiety, stress, and gradually erode inner strength. The danger of negative habits lies in their clever disguise. They become so familiar that we no longer notice their presence, until we wonder why we are constantly tired, anxious, or disappointed in ourselves. Stoic philosophy teaches that the first step to change is to recognize and accept the truth, not to justify it, not to blame circumstances, but to face it honestly. Breaking a negative habit is not just about trying to suppress it. If you only aim to stop, you will soon fall into frustration and exhaustion. Stoicism shows us that you cannot simply erase. You must replace. Every bad habit must be substituted with a positive action that aligns with the goals and values you seek. For instance, if you tend to procrastinate, start by breaking tasks into smaller steps and completing the smallest one. If you are trapped in negative thinking, practice asking yourself, what can I control right now? Instead of fighting laziness or fear, you learn to redirect that energy into meaningful action. Change never happens overnight. It requires patience, self-forgiveness after each stumble, and most importantly, unwavering persistence. In Stoic philosophy, failures are not proof of weakness, but opportunities to practice patience and endurance. Every day, every small right action you take gradually wears down the old chains. Over time, you will feel the change not just in your habits, but in how you perceive yourself. You will no longer be a person dragged along by unconscious reactions, but someone who actively shapes their own path, living with mindfulness, clarity, and freedom. Breaking negative habits is the first step toward freeing yourself from invisible burdens. And in that journey, you not only change your external life, but also touch the profound freedom of the soul, a freedom that no one and nothing can take away. The art of mastering emotions. When you are no longer ruled by circumstances, one of the most powerful abilities a person can develop is the ability to master their own emotions. In this chaotic world, where external forces constantly impact our minds, maintaining composure without being swept away by anger, anxiety, or fear has become a true art of living. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control circumstances, but we can always control how we respond. It is our emotions, not external events, that are the true source of our inner suffering. If we allow an insult, a failure, or an unexpected event to dictate our inner state, we are surrendering control of our lives to things beyond our reach. Mastering emotions does not mean suppressing them or pretending they do not exist. On the contrary, it demands mindful observation, recognizing emotions as they arise, understanding their origins, and consciously choosing to act according to values rather than fleeting feelings. When anger flares, you can observe it as a cloud passing across the sky of your mind. instead of letting it rage and destroy what matters. When anxiety surfaces, you can face it and ask, is this within my control? If not, let it go. If yes, act with reason instead of fear. By practicing daily emotional observation and navigation, you gradually build a formidable inner strength. You no longer react impulsively to every external impact. You know when to stay silent, when to speak up, when to let go, and where to invest your energy. The miracle is that when you master your emotions, the outside world can no longer easily hurt you. Criticism, failures, and losses no longer break you. They become mere experiences and lessons. You become the master of your inner journey, not a victim of circumstance. In doing so, you not only reduce anxiety and stress, but move steadily closer to true inner freedom. A freedom not from changing the world, but from changing how you live within it. Facing temptation, cultivating inner strength to overcome yourself. Temptation rarely arrives in grand, dramatic forms. More often, it is quiet, sweet, and easily justified. A small postponement, a brief indulgence, a tiny compromise against your own values. Every time you choose momentary pleasure over long-term goals, a piece of your inner strength is eroded. Stoic philosophy does not view temptation as an enemy to be destroyed, but as an opportunity to train resilience. When temptation arises, it is simply a reminder. Will you choose the easy way, or will you choose steadfastness? The moment you face temptation is a test of who you truly wish to become. To overcome temptation, the first step is to recognize it in its most subtle forms. It may come as a simple excuse, just this once, or as a soft indulgence, I deserve a break. If you are not mindful, these just once moments will accumulate into habits, and habits will shape your character. Stoicism teaches that in every decision-making moment, ask yourself, does this action align with my values and long-term goals? Will it make me stronger or weaker? Will it bring me closer to inner freedom or pull me farther away? Practicing self-discipline in even the smallest matters is the most powerful form of training. Each time you act according to your values rather than temptation, you not only honor your commitment to yourself, but also build your inner strength. Little by little, like training muscles, the strength of will is forged through consistent small victories. A practical Stoic method is to visualize the consequences of giving in to temptation. Imagine the disappointment of breaking a promise to yourself, the hollow feeling of realizing you let short-term pleasure defeat your reason. This is not to punish yourself, but to make visible the real cost of surrender. And remember, failure is not the end. If you slip, do not wallow in self-blame. Stand up, analyze what led to your weakness, and prepare better for the next time. In Stoicism, repeated right action and persistence through even the smallest inner battles are the true ways to cultivate unshakable strength. Overcoming temptation is not a moment of sudden glory. It is a slow, silent process where each small victory accumulates to build a resilient spirit, and through that, you not only diminish self-created anxiety, but take a major step closer to true inner freedom. Turning Stoic philosophy into practical power, living calmly through storms. Stoicism was never meant to be a lofty intellectual exercise for idle contemplation. It was born on battlefields, in chaotic courts, through years of exile and loss. It is a philosophy for real life, where people face pressure, failure, and daily hardship. Applying Stoicism is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It is about maintaining mental clarity in every situation, so that whether facing failure, criticism, or unexpected change, you act according to your values rather than react impulsively. This ability is what sets apart those swept along by life from those who steer their own course. One of the most practical applications of Stoicism is clearly distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. When we learn to focus all our energy on what lies within our power, our actions, thoughts, and reactions, and relinquish worry over outcomes, our minds lighten anxiety and stress begin to fade. Not because life becomes less harsh, but because we no longer waste energy resisting what we cannot change. In work, when plans derail, instead of raging or despairing, the Stoic asks, what action can I take to improve the situation in relationships? When misunderstood or hurt, they do not try to control others' emotions, but focus on adjusting their own attitude. Living stoically also means preparing for adversity rather than naively hoping everything will go smoothly. The Stoic regularly practices negative visualization, imagining possible hardships ahead, not to be pessimistic, but so that when the storms do come, the mind is ready and as steady as a rock against the crashing waves. In today's turbulent world, living stoically is not just a wise choice, it is the path to maintaining true peace amidst chaos, so that each passing day you are not merely surviving, but truly mastering your own journey. Virtue, the compass guiding inner growth. In Stoic philosophy, virtue is not merely a noble ideal to admire, it is the highest purpose of life, a life worth living. According to the Stoics, is not measured by wealth, status, or external success, but by how fully one lives according to virtue. The four cardinal virtues of Stoicism: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance serve as the compass for all thought, action, and decision. Wisdom grants us clarity to discern right from wrong. Amidst confusion, courage empowers us to move forward even in fear. Justice keeps our hearts open toward others, resisting selfishness, and temperance enables us to master our impulses, avoiding both indulgence and rage. When you anchor your life on virtue, external upheavals no longer easily sway you. A criticism cannot throw you off course if you know you have acted justly. Failure cannot defeat you if you understand that outcomes are temporary, but living by your values is eternal. By diligently practicing these four virtues daily, you not only become more resilient to adversity, but also progressively liberate yourself from inner turmoil. You build a quiet strength, a confidence needing no outward validation, and a freedom no external force can take away. On the journey toward peace and inner freedom, virtue is not a burden to carry. It is the lamp lighting your way, especially when every other path is shrouded in darkness. Why Stoicism can truly change your life. A time-tested truth. Stoicism is not a vague ideology. It is a philosophy tested over centuries by some of the most resilient minds in history. It endures not because of beautiful words, but because of the practical power it offers those who truly apply it. At its core, Stoicism holds a simple but profound principle: focus on what you can control, and release concern over what you cannot. In an unpredictable world, this principle acts as an anchor, keeping your mind from being swept away by anxiety, anger, or despair. Stoicism changes your life by changing how you see the world. Instead of complaining about adversity, you learn to view it as an opportunity to build resilience. Instead of blaming others, you turn inward and take responsibility for your thoughts and actions. Instead of trying to control every outcome, you focus on genuine effort and let go of rigid expectations. Those who live by Stoic principles experience a quiet but powerful transformation. Anxiety lessens, tension fades, and a growing sense of freedom arises within. Because when your peace no longer depends on the world conforming to your wishes, you become truly self-governing. This is why Stoicism, born thousands of years ago, remains vibrant today. It does not just change how you confront life, It changes who you are, from the roots up. Building a resilient mind, facing challenges as an awakened warrior. A resilient mind is not forged during peaceful days. It is trained through failures, losses, and moments when it seems there is no way out. In Stoic philosophy, challenges are not obstacles. They are an essential part of the journey toward growth. The Stoic does not expect a path paved with roses. They prepare their minds for adversity by practicing premeditatio malorum, visualizing the worst that could happen. So when hardships truly strike, they neither panic nor collapse, but face them like a warrior, ready for battle. Building a resilient mind begins with changing the way we see failure, instead of viewing it as the end. The Stoic sees it as a natural part of progress. Every fall, every confrontation with fear is an opportunity to cultivate courage, patience, and the ability to rise stronger. Resilience does not come from avoiding negative emotions, but from facing and moving through them mindfully. When you learn to observe fear and pain without letting them consume you, you gradually build an inner strength that no external force can easily destroy. Each day, with every persistent choice, with every refusal to surrender to discouragement, you carve resilience into your mind little by little. You realize the outside world may change, but the strength within you, your resilience, will always walk beside you, protect you, and lift you through every storm ahead. Adversity, the forge that shapes your unshakable self. Adversity has never been the enemy of growth. On the contrary, it is the forge where true inner strength is formed, honed, and revealed. Without challenges, resilience remains a theory without failure. Courage is just an empty word. In Stoic philosophy, adversity is not something to be avoided or feared. It is a natural part of life that a strong mind must embrace, for it is precisely in the moments when everything collapses that you truly discover who you are. When ease and comfort are stripped away, what remains inside you that is real? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, obstacles do not block the path. They are the path. Every failure, every loss, every hurt carries within it an opportunity to train endurance, cultivate courage, and build a deep serenity that no circumstance can steal. Instead of asking, "Why must I endure this?" the Stoic asks, "How can I grow through this challenge?" Rather than cursing fate, they view adversity as a stern but fair teacher, polishing their soul to shine brighter and stand stronger. Adversity is also a test of the values we claim to hold. A person who seems virtuous only when everything is easy is not truly steadfast. Only when pressed, wounded, and tested to the limit do our deepest principles reveal themselves through action. If you learn to welcome adversity with mindful acceptance, neither resisting nor surrendering, you will discover that the storms outside cannot destroy you. They can only shape, refine, and reveal the strongest, freest version of yourself, a self whose peace comes not from the absence of hardship, but from the ability to stand firm amidst it. Inner freedom, when you are no longer a slave to emotions and circumstances. Deep down, every human being longs for freedom, but most of us seek freedom outside ourselves. A stable job, a perfect relationship, a life free from turmoil. We believe that when the world around us falls perfectly into place, then we will be at peace. Stoic philosophy points to a different truth. True freedom does not come from controlling circumstances, but from controlling ourselves. You cannot decide how the world treats you, but you can always decide how you respond. You cannot stop the flow of life's changes, but you can choose to stand firm in your unchanging core values. Inner freedom begins when you stop living according to fleeting emotions, instead of letting anger impulsively dictate your actions. You observe it, understand it, and consciously choose how to respond instead of panicking in the face of failure. You face it squarely as a natural part of growth. The Stoic understands that mastering emotions does not mean suppressing them. It means refusing to let them enslave you. They choose peace even when misunderstood. They choose patience even when tested. They choose gratitude even amid loss. This is a kind of freedom that no glory, no status, no external praise can provide. Along this journey, you may at first believe that freedom means living without limits, doing whatever you want whenever you want, but eventually, you will realize true freedom is the ability to say no to meaningless impulses, to cheap temptations, to emotional outbursts, and to stay loyal to the deepest values within you. When you no longer depend on circumstances for your peace, when you no longer need external validation to feel worthy, when you act not from fear or immediate gratification, but because it is the right thing to do, then you are truly free. Inner freedom is not a reward for those who avoid hardship. It is the natural result of a mind trained through adversity, a heart that has learned to love this life, no matter what storms it may bring. The journey back to yourself, the journey you have undertaken, is not a straight road, nor does it promise easy rewards. It is the journey back to yourself, back to the silent strength that has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. Each step along the Stoic path reminds you strength, peace, and freedom are not found out there in the world. They are forged from within. When you master your emotions, act according to your values, and face adversity with resilience, you do more than just live differently. You become the true captain of your life, no longer letting circumstances, emotions, or others dictate your course. Out there, the storms may never cease. New challenges will arise, sometimes harsher and more unexpected than you imagined. But now, you are different. You hold within you timeless principles, quiet but powerful practices. You have a foundation, a mind that does not easily waver, an inner force not easily broken. Keep going, keep training every day, and one day, when you look back, you will realize every hardship, every loss, every hardship you once doubted you could survive, all were the raw materials that forged a free soul, an unbreakable spirit. In the end, inner freedom is not a final destination. It is the way you live every moment, even when the storms still rage around you.